Good morning. Good morning. We are here at KSF Live. My name is Professor Kyra Lee, and we are coming to you from West Contra Costa County. I have the ability to present two amazing advocates for justice and education in Zelon Harrison, regional and national justice and education advocate, and Francisco Ortiz, president of the United Teachers of Richmond Union. We've been making a lot of news lately, people. We have been navigating negotiations between the school district and our union that protects our educators on the front lines for our children. So I'd like to know, starting with you, Zelon, how long have you been in relationship with WCCUSD? How long have you been in relationship with the school district?
Since 2015.
Okay.
So it's been a
And,
long time.
and what is your relationship with the school district currently?
Currently, I am still a parent of a student in West Contra Costa School District, and I serve as a parent leader on several committees in West Contra Costa School District. And because of the data in our school district, I am currently running for school board of Area 4.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us today. And Francisco, same question. How long have you been in relationship with the school district from your seat as president of the union?
Since being president of the union since June or July of 2024, but I've been involved in the district since 1991 when I rejoined my family here as a first grader at Dover Elementary School. So I went through the district. I currently have a TK student with special needs in the district, and so I'm navigating this new role as a parent while juggling it as union president and a former teacher is a different reality, but is a great space to be in as we continue to fight forward for our students.
I love that. So I've got two parents. I have two folks that have extended their role in a leadership capacity. And you all are both serving from spaces that look for change, I'm assuming, change coming out of these next coming years with the school district. Let me start with you with this question, Francisco. You were in the negotiations, you were in the talks that made national headlines. How are you feeling following the strike?
I'm feeling, really grateful. I'm feeling incredibly joyous with the amount of outpouring of support that we've had from families, that we've had from community members, from elected officials, because the issues that we raised during this campaign, we were really around the fact that we have a disproportionate amount of vacancies that really impact our Title I schools. And so we believe that all of our students deserve a qualified, certificated educator that supports them on a daily basis. And we believe that with this new agreement, we're able to lay the foundation for fully staffed, stable schools, so we don't continuously lose educators year after year in record numbers, and our students can have more stability.
What were some of the major concessions in the latest version of the contracts? What were some wins that you all saw as negotiations concluded?
So the wins were to ensure that salaries remain competitive with neighboring districts, ensuring that we also had healthcare that supports educators' ability to stay as we're losing other folks. We were able to win some wins in special education, especially where we see the greatest amounts of vacancies. We were also able to get some cost neutral language because we didn't receive any substantive responses from the district on special education articles until mediation. So after all, 10 months of bargaining, nothing on special education. And then until we were able to actually force them to sit through the article on the last 12-hour negotiation session, where it's like, look, this doesn't cost anything. This is an improvement that we can do right now. So, and some class sizes for for physical education and the Internationals Academy.
Beautiful. Zelon, you were definitely out front at many of the protests, many of the strikes, and simultaneously wearing a few hats throughout the last 2 weeks. What were some questions that you had coming out of negotiations as a parent and as an advocate?
Well, Francisco and I have talked, and about some of our concerns, and a lot of our concerns is really that I usually my platform that I usually stand on before my campaign started was I advocated strongly for Black and African American children and educators. So my concern was, even though that we're getting some things that we needed. Are the educators really going to be able to sustain these things that are coming out? Are these things that are just temporary? Will the district actually follow through? And now, briefly, we got to mention last night, we just heard that our chief financial officer is retiring. So now it's like, I don't feel confident that these type of agreements with educators, especially when we look at our Black educators that are not, when layoffs happen, and Francisco knows this, the layoffs happen, they're the first to go. And they're the lowest number of educators in our district. And then our students are constantly lowest performing, and I feel a lot of that is due to the high educational turnover and not being able to retain and recruit educators to our lowest performing schools. So I just don't have confidence that this is going to be something. I think there's going to be a blame game before there are results that we're going to see here. And I really want to feel as confident as others feel about this, but I just seen the district year after year play games when they are saying things they're going to do and then them actually delivering them. And then when we look at our lowest performing students, they're going to be hit harder because they're already missing gaps in their education. So it's just a big concern of mine. Is this really going to happen?
Thank you so much, Salon. Great points. Francisco, from your seat within the union, do you see a difference when it comes to supporting Black and Brown educators within the West County Unified School District? Do you see any extra programs? Do you see a difference in treatment as you're at the helm of negotiating on behalf of and protecting on behalf of our educator body? Do you notice a difference for our Black and Brown educators?
So I know that we have definitely asked for data regarding non-reelections because anecdotally we have seen that non-reelections in West Contra Costa occur at a disproportionate rate for specifically Black male educators as well, but Black educators in general. We've also seen, disproportionate amounts of administrative leaves. And so depending on the different practices that occur within the district. So we've also raised the issue of, administrative leave processes being outsourced to these law firms that are disconnected from the actual school sites. And so if, there's an investigation or a concern, then who's to make that happen other than, district staff who are connected to the district? It should not be a lawyer who is like far away and can and prolongs the process. We have folks who are placed on leave for many, many months, and they should be in the classroom if it's just like, hey, you did this wrong, you shouldn't do it anymore, and like here's the consequence, So I know that in the past 2 year, or in the past year, we had convened a UTR educator focus group that specifically addressed the issues that Black educators were facing in the district. So these are some of the issues that were raised, and equity across different school sites as well, because there might be some school sites that may not have a single Black educator throughout the entire school staff. And so how does that impact the way in which students also access education and see themselves in the curriculum or see themselves within the structure of the school system? So those are some of the issues that we've seen in terms of elevating the issue specifically for Black educators.
Thank you, Francisco. Zelon, I'll pose the next question to you. You have been an advocate on several different boards in support of and working alongside of the district for our Black and Brown students. When you're speaking with Black parents, what are some of the disconnects that you see when it comes to school staff and school facilities?
Well, a lot of it is lack of communication. We don't know a lot of the time where and when things are happening. And then the other disconnect is just the cultural piece that comes in because we can't come to the meetings at 10 o'clock, or like they have informational sessions when it's not done in partnership. So the information sharing is done one-sidedly a lot. And then when they do collect our opinions and thoughts and advisory, they don't never use it. It's just like a check a box. So we've never, what I can say about Francisco, he's made it a point through his leadership to meet with the leaders. And so I was always able to, bring back information that he shared with me. And because I am currently the chair of the African American Site Advisory Team, and that's for the district for over our whole district. I'm the chair of all the African American parent groups at the school sites. So I'm able to share that information as I get it with other families, and we can participate to support our educators. But I just feel there's a very big disconnect intentionally with the district always has painted the teachers union as the boogeyman while we can't get any work done because their union won't agree to anything, where I've learned over time where the boogeyman really is, and it's in that lack of communication and keeping us separate and divided. And they've been able to just manipulate, I think, both sides, the parents and the educators, to get things that they felt were important, like ridiculous amount of contracts. And I've been looking at board contracts for forever, and and I always bring it up, but like until now it wasn't important. But we spend a lot of money in our district on people who are not going to stay and invest in our children and our families, and it's just like it goes unheard. It just like they like as they do due diligence, but it's nothing that parents and community can hold on to say, we're going to move forward on this. This is what the district stands on, or to know what the teacher union is going to be able to do to help us, because it's that buffer in between. We don't know how this is going to all play out. And then the teachers union can't just say what they're going to do to help us because they have to deal with the district, and it's just that ring around and blame game, ring around the rosy and the blame game. That's what it just wastes time, because our children year after year are going to the next grade and the next grade with all this going on.
Well said. I'm hearing gaps in communication. I'm hearing lack of partnership, possibly lack of equity in decision-making spaces. Thank you for lifting all of that. Francisco, I'll pivot to you. For those that are unfamiliar with how to activate from the parent's role with the union, does the union have open channels of communication with parents? Are there town halls? Are there ways to connect where the union's wealth of information can be accessed by the community?
Yeah, so throughout this process, we had some in-person town halls. And one of the ways that we still believe in this, and Zelon might speak to this a little bit more as well, but a real opportunity that we've had and that we've been fully 110% invested in is the community school strategy, where all the issues that you've spoken about, shared leadership, communication, transparency, ensuring that all interest holders are at the table, and that it's a service of love, labor, and collective action. But we've met roadblocks towards the implementation, right? We know that ensuring that we have culturally sustaining and affirming curriculum and training for our educators so that our students feel valued and seen, and we have those transformative classroom experiences was integral to this. And as our previous superintendent two ago, Dr. Hurst, spent this real investment in creating a strategic plan. And in that strategic plan, it says we are a community schools district. And so when we try to implement the anti-racism strategy with the community school strategy, we were told to stay in our lane. And so what does that even mean when we're trying to transform schools? And so we're seeing so many different robots, like contractors who run the community school directors, their contract was not approved 2 years in a row. And so schools started without those services. And so all these hiccups where we could really see some transformative change in our school district, because we received the 5th largest grant in the state. We're not the 5th largest district. And we're in year 4 of implementation. And most of our communities don't even know if they're a community school or what they offer or how they can get involved. Right? We just had a Kwanzaa celebration that I think was emailed to folks over Zoom with 24 hours notice or something like that. And so all of that is like when they send out communication, like 4 or 5 folks show up if they saw it. When we send out a notification, we have a packed house. So how do we leverage those opportunities? Because as we're moving forward, we want to ensure that we do have student-centered budgets, student-centered decision-making, and that includes having informed parents, informed educators, informed students, because we've seen our students stand up and fight for education, and they've seen some changes happen. And so to completely like shatter this 4th wall that, there's this like wonderful Wizard of Oz that is all knowing, but it's like, no, the people see it, the people know what we can do. And so we're going to move towards some implementable change. And so it's going to take a collective effort for us to make that happen. I think that with community schools, we can really do that.
Thank you for that. Do you share that enthusiasm, Zelon? Are community-based schools the way to go? And if so, what does that mean for our students?
Well, absolutely. But like Francisco said, there again, the district, they have the space was created, but the district sabotages the space by not clear communication. There's all the check boxes in there. There's not good listening. So when we share, we advocate, it's like what's going to actually happen has already been decided. And that's not how community schools should go. I did not, to Francisco's point, my daughter went to a community school for 6 years. So she went 1st grade to 6th grade. And I did not know that was a community school until my daughter was in the 6th grade. And I go to every SSC meeting. I'm part of the APAC there. How did that happen? And this is like the community schools was a secret literally until a couple of years ago when the teachers union, I'm going to give them that, they brought that out. And Francisco being the main one, him and the executive director there, Mark, saying to me, Zelon, did you know? Did you know? And it was like, wow, I did not even know. Like, and and Francisco knows, I am at every meeting to the gods. If I can get there, I'll be there. How did I not know that my daughter attended a community school? How did I not know that there were community schools in our district and that this is something that parents were able to be involved of? Like in a community school, you could say, I want a wash house there. I want kids to be able to play violin there. We need a food bank at our community schools are open to be services for the community with the parents guiding how that looks. And that is not happening. And like you said, we were the 5th, funded. Our district was really funded well for community schools. And we have not gotten our money's worth. We have not. A lot of money has been wasted. A lot of time has been wasted. And I feel if the teachers and the parents don't get this right, we're going to keep going through this cycle of chaos and just crazy making.
Thank you for that. It sounds like you all have been working together pretty closely. Francisco, question to you. In your 3 years in your current seat, which win are you most proud of? What is the most impactful win that you have experienced so far in your current role?
I think the biggest win is, hope. I'm seeing a lot of not only educators, which are the folks that I communicate with most on a daily basis, but just students, family members of, we've seen what the issues have been for some time, and we've been met with the same answers, but now we can continue to push forward. I've seen people who have, come out of maybe years of like, well, that's the way that things are, and then now we can see what's possible. And we understand that, especially in California, which is like the fourth largest economy in the world, and the way that we fund education is not commiserate with the amount of wealth that exists in our state, that we need to take this towards a statewide level. But locally we can see what's possible, because other districts have been able to do more with less, when our district is doing less with more. We get more ADA than surrounding districts, but our students are the ones who are impacted by the most vacancies. Our special education students are the ones who are impacted with the lack of services, or missed services. And so our students don't deserve to be on Zoom with a speech language therapist in another state or another country. They deserve someone who can show up for them every single day, or an aide who is a member of our community, who's a parent of our community, who can our district can reinvest those the funds that they get into our community, not in these private equity firms, as Zelon said. We spend almost a quarter of our entire budget on contractors that are out of state and are tied to the national organization's efforts to defund public education and harm special education. So let's cut the contracting. Let's make sure that we're investing in our community and the folks who are closest to our students and our communities.
I love that, Francisco. Thank you. Zelon, next question for you. In the coming year, what wins are you looking forward to? Actually, let me back up. What win is the most impactful so far? Because you've sat in several seats. I believe you just got back from Chicago, correct, for a symposium on reparations. Let's hear about that.
Yeah, so I was very inspired when I came back from Chicago, learning about what the reparations are. There were 9 states in the nation that did a reparation, and California being one. So I would love to bring some of that work I am planning to bring some of that work to Contra Costa County, looking at the over-identification and suspensions for Black males. County data shows that is still a very big issue. So I'm wanting to work on solutions and provide resources that are local from communities and that support the students that we say we love and that's our future, and not just have things that don't mean nothing and just to check a box. So I'm planning to bring a lot of good policies and structure that can make it so all kids will have access to a quality of education and an equitable education, because it's not rocket science. These people need to get this together. And like Francisco said, our district has money. It's just how we're spending the money and how we're treating our children. We're not investing in our children and our students. Our students are speaking up. I have students that support me as running as a candidate, and I'm just thankful of that. That was shocking to me. Like, well, y'all know what I'm out here doing. I had a student tell me, I'll support you with the teacher strike, and I'll support you with standing with the teachers. And this was an 8th grader. And I felt so honored about our students are like really paying attention to what's going on, because after all of us leave, we grow older. We need to make sure that the futures and the generations understand the work we've done, right? So I am here to do future work and longevity and invest in our children with the work I'm doing. So when we talk about reparations, when we talk about repair, when we talk about equity, that's not just an adult conversation. That's our students' conversation. That's our community's conversation. And we're bridging it with the elders. We're bridging it with the people who, like Francisco and I, and we're doing the work, but also we need to make sure the children are seen and they're pushed up front in this work, because they have the ability to keep it going.
Well said. So in the coming year, I'm going to ask this to you, Zelon, first, and then Francisco, I'll follow up with you. What would you like to accomplish by next November? What are 2 solid goals for you in all of your seats in the service of our educators and students, Zelon? What are 2 goals that you would like to see accomplished next year?
I would like to see me on the school board. I like that. And then I would like to see better communication and better alignment with parents and community and our educators and with our district staff. And so I would like to see, I'm going to work on, regardless if I'm on the board or not on the board, on that happening, because I'm not going to turn my children over to people who I can't clearly communicate with, who I constantly have to fight for my child with. I want to turn my child over to people who I have a good connection with. I may not always like you, but we have an understanding about what needs to happen. So that's what I am. One of my goals that I'm going to accomplish is better communication and clear transparency on the expenditures in our district and why our educators are not being taken care of like they should, so we can change data in our district. Because if you take care of those issues, the others will follow. So that those are things that I am working day and night, sun up, sundown, to make sure it happens.
Thank you for that, Zelon, and thank you for that passion. Francisco, same question. In the next year between now and November, what are 2 changes you would like to see implemented?
So 2 changes that I would like to see implemented is one, currently working on a campaign to have a more participatory student-centered budgeting process so that we do have realistic projections of how much funds our district is receiving and how much they're going to be spending, because we've seen wild projections even in the first interim that was just published. Revenues are up, as we said, and contractors are up. Fund 17 grew. So let's have some realistic projections so we can spend today's dollars on today's students. I want to see the vacancy rate cut at least in half. As soon as the TA, we lost an amazing special education teacher over from El Cerrito down to Mount Diablo a couple of years ago. She used to sit on our executive board and serve as our equity chair. And now, as soon as that, she's like, I'm coming back. So if we can cut down on our special education vacancies, we can cut down on our Title I school vacancies, that's going to be a huge win. And then ensuring that we do have the leverage that we have built through this collective action with families, with students, so that we can say, this is what our communities deserve, and this is how we're expecting our district to invest in our education and move forward with ensuring that our budgets reflect our values, and because those positive student outcomes follow when you actually make that happen.
Well said. Well, this has been a wonderful follow-up conversation to the West Contra Costa Unified School District strike that we all were up to our necks in for the last few weeks. I am very happy to hear that there has been forward progress. I am very happy to hear that there are wins both as advocates, parents, and as educators and the union that have been acknowledged and received on behalf of our students. Moving forward, we have some powerful goals. Do you all feel like you will be collaborating on work on behalf of our students over the next year? It sounds like we have a lot of power in and outside of the union. Do you all see collaboration coming in your futures?
Yeah, Zelon and I have collaborated since, I don't know, we've been collaborating, we continue to collaborate because it's in the service of students and, the betterment of our district, at least from my perspective.
Yeah, I definitely, my child's in the district, so, I go with this with not just, because I am chosen to run for school board, but it's because I'm a parent here and I really need to know, well, how is these things happening from the rooter to the tutor? I need to know. So I plan to be walking lockstep with Francisco, whether I'm on the board. I appreciate y'all's support, but whether I'm not, he knows I'll show up. And so I'm going to keep showing up. I'm going to keep advocating, and I'm going to keep being a part of the solution. And so if people are there not for the solution, they going to probably not like me so much, because I'm going to keep driving that line to get better educational outcomes for our children.
I love that. And I thank you both. This has been amazing. Again, my name is Professor Kyra Lee. We will be hosting a Justice in Education Town Hall in April. Francisco, please save the date. We will be sending out that invitation. I hope that you and all of your team can make it. Zelon, thank you for inviting us both to this powerful kickoff conversation because I feel like it's necessary. One of the things we forget to do is circle back with the community and give updates. So Francisco, thank you for sharing what you know. Thank you for sharing some of the details to the contracts that have been decided upon, because those details have not made it out yet. We heard it here first on KSF Live. In closing, Zelon, I believe that you have an event coming up on Tuesday, December 30th. Would you like to speak to that invitation and let folks know where to find you?
Yes. So I will be, I might need help on the Zoom part, but I will be holding a meet and greet at 260 Broadway from 4 to 8 on the 30th. And I would love for you all to come out. Yeah, there's a QR code. Thank you for putting that up. Just come out, and then I'll be holding a Zoom meet. There's a QR code, so you guys can come out and just see why I'm doing what I do and why I feel that I can make a big difference in our community and for our children and our students.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And Francisco, in closing, are there any upcoming events, any places that we can catch you and support you in your work in the coming days?
We currently have tentatively planned for June 30th a winter celebration, or did I say June 30th? I meant January 30th.
Yeah, January 30th.
Wow. January 30th celebration. Where we're going to invite community members, our members, and families to come and celebrate with us, and just to collect the breath as we continue to fight for the next iteration of our struggle for education, equity, and justice.
Is there anywhere we can find that information?
Not yet, because we had just come up with the date. So as soon as we send out the flyer, I'll send it out to our networks.
Okay.
Fantastic. We'll be walking in step with you both. I appreciate you both so much for your time today. This has been powerful. We will be tracking both of your impacts for our students, for our educators, for our differently abled folk that need the support and the attention to make sure that their lives are as successful upfront as possible. I appreciate you all and look forward to upcoming conversations. Thank you both.
All right. Thank you. Bye.